Yo, what's going down, Commanders? Hope everyone's doing fine today. I just wanted to do like my take on the newest Drake's Dungeon episode 20 with ranked young Russell. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video and pause it when I feel like I need to talk and give my opinion, my 2 cents, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully I can break the video down into portions where you kind of understand what's going on. I will be leaving the link in the description below this video if you guys want to actually go listen to it yourself. Not many people have gone over there and watched it. I'm hoping this video actually improves on that little playlist there, or the little number, sorry. But without further ado, let's just get into it and let me break it down best I can. I'm going to let it, hang on a second, I haven't put the volume on so you won't be able to hear it. So now you will be able to hear it. I'm going to play it and then I'm going to stop periodically and then explain what my feelings are towards this.
It's probably more than 2 years since we've done a Drake's Dungeon. Obviously, it's been a while, so let me recap you guys on what the heck is Drake's Dungeon for anybody who hasn't listened before.
Drake's Dungeon was pretty much forced upon Drake when he became the CM of the company. He done it. I think it was more Kixeye that forced him to do it. Will Harbin comes to mind. I think it's Will Harbin, the previous owner of War Commander or Kixeye. He kind of forced him to do it. It was part and parcel of the job. Once Steelfront took over, it sort of petered out for a year or two, and then obviously he's back right now, and it's just the same nonsense as before.
This will be the show where I get to sit down with somebody from the War Commander team, and we kind of just talk about the game, talk about what that person does on the game, and we try to talk a little bit about things that are going to be happening either presently and in the future of the game. Just as a reason why we haven't done one of these in 2 years is because I've been working on 2 different games. I've been working on both this and Battle Pirates. And actually, starting at the end of this month, I will be back to just doing this game, just doing War Commander. So it's going to give me a lot more time.
Well, I just want to stop it there because he is actually, he says at the end of this month, I just noticed on the Kixeye YouTube page, he's actually got a Drake's Dungeon for Battle Pirates as well that come out on the same day. And it actually done worse than the War Commander video. So at the end of this month, he said, so I may be
do cool fun things like this, along with cool other fun things that
I hate when fucking Drake says cool, and he keeps saying cool throughout the video.
We're doing in the community. Like contests are back again. We have trivia contests. We have Player of the Month if you're over on our Discord. So I encourage you guys to, if you haven't been to the Discord in a while, to hop on back to the Discord.
I just want to put this out there, guys. If you do go on the War Commander Discord, you're new to the game, or you haven't never been on the War Commander Discord, do not say something that may upset the flow of the actual game. Do not mention cheats, hacks, manipulations, anything like that, because you will get blocked or banned from the Discord sooner rather than later. They do not tolerate anything like that. So be very careful. It's a good thing that they're putting out a few competitions, a little bit of coin, Player of the Month, I think they started doing, and trivia questions. To me, it's all a load of bollocks. They've got their favourites over on that Discord, if you like, and they're going to pick between them. The chances of someone new that goes on there winning something is slim to none.
And just participate in some of these things, and you'll get cool free stuff. We give out gold, we give out upgrade tokens. Or upgrade logistics, I should say, to be more specific, and all that kind of fun stuff. And we're, doing lots of fun things on our social media. So I'll include links to at the bottom of the video for all the social media.
I can't remember the last time I looked on the War Commander Facebook page, or I think they may even have a Twitter page, X page, something like that.
That you can follow. And we're going to have plenty of other cool things on the horizon, like more, lore posts and things along that line.
He lost his trail of thought there. More lore posts.
Which
they make the lore up as they go along now. They don't stick to the lore as it previously was, so it's bullshit.
I'll have a lot more time to do the fun things I love doing now, and that's very exciting. And so, without further ado, I would like to bring on a longtime Drake's Dungeon guest. You know him as the head of design, the lead designer for War Commander. Young Russell, welcome back after a 2-year hiatus.
Hello, Drake. It's good to see you again, and it's good to be back.
Well, it's good to hear you. I don't want to mislead our audience. We're not seeing each other. We're in different locations, actually. We're
Something that a lot of my guys said that Drake was never in the kixeye offices over in Canada. He's in America. Yeah. I don't think he can be a help to the company being so far away. I think a CM or any employee of kixeye needs to be on site to know what's going on. This is why the event notes, patch notes, and everything like that is always wrong, and he has to go in and fix them because he's not there in the studio or in the offices. Double checking, triple checking. He's getting sent this by email. He's copying, pasting it to the kixeye site, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's all wrong, and that's kind of embarrassing for the company, especially a company that's worth as much money as Stillfront is.
I don't want to lie to our audience, young Russell. Can we make that clear? Can we?
That's true.
Can we stop? The buck stops here, folks.
The buck stops here. I think he means he don't want to lie about where he's placed in the world. Not he doesn't want to lie about stuff that's being implemented into the game. I think we're going to carry on seeing the lies, the manipulation of the stats and things like that we're seeing for newer units. I don't believe a word he's coming out with. If the lies are going to stop, make sure it stops across the board, not just this fucking podcast.
That's true. We are between nations, in fact.
Yeah, we're not even in the same country.
International, baby.
Yeah, I for those players who don't know, I am in the United States of America, and young Russell is in our great nation to the north, the Canadas, where the maple syrup flows like wine. Does it flow like it can't really flow like wine? It's kind of a thicker.
But this annoys me. This part of the actual video, I have watched this previously, but this is trying to humanise themselves. Basically it's a manipulation, a psychological manipulation to humanise the people working at the company. They're not corporate. They're not being forced to do this. This is something they're doing for fun out of their own back. It's bullshit, and it's manipulation of the players. And I hate this. And I think they drivel on for about 5 minutes before they actually get into talking about the game. We're not here to worry about what you're doing in your day-to-day life. Anyone that works at kixeye, we want to know about the game. We want to know what's coming in the game, and we want to know what's in the future. So cut this bullshit part out and just get straight into the game. I don't know when it ends, guys, so I'm going to have to let it play through.
Substance, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true, but we do drink it like wine.
That is true. You sit down with your poutine and a fine glass of maple syrup.
Yep.
We do the same here. It's usually just we just have.
No one wants to hear about this. No one gives a shit whether they fucking eat whatever they're fucking eating or drinking, like wine. Or is it maple syrup? No one cares. We're here to hear about the game. This is why a lot of people probably turned off.
The French fries, the burger instead of poutine, but we wash it down with some kind of carbonated beverage or beer. You guys have a lot of beer up there too, though. So.
Oh yeah, better beer.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, we've had a lot of things that have happened in the last month or so, young Russell, that we want to talk about. And I'm going to get right in it. I'm going to ask you the hard-hitting questions that Workman...
I bet he don't ask about cheats. 100% he doesn't ask about cheats. I've already watched the video, so I know he doesn't.
Players demand answers on. You thought you were coming in for a friendly conversation.
We only demand answers on improvements to the game. We demand answers on manipulation of the game. We want answers about the scripts that are being used in the game. Other than that, we will play the game. It makes no sense. The questions and the answers and everything else is just it's nonsense. Other than that,
you're not. You're here for a civil conversation that could be interpreted as friendly.
Oh boy.
But no, let's talk about the new buildings. Okay, we had CC20 that just came out at the end of August, and in it we had the new construction yard and the agency. Tell us a little bit about what, from a design standpoint, what are these new buildings about? What can we do with them? And what are the future plans with them? Like, obviously we don't just introduce something without having a thing in mind. So hit us with that first, young Russell.
So Yeah, there are two buildings that I'm really excited about because they offer us future design potential. Obviously, with the construction yard, it will allow us to offer players the ability to almost sort of block off certain areas of their base.
This is kind of false. I have built the construction yard. The other one I haven't. What he's saying is it gives us opportunity to block off part of the base, but units can still fire through them barricades or them buildings, whatever you want to call them, the towers and everything you can place in. They can shoot through them. What they can't do is drive through them, so they have to go round them. I would prefer that they had to kill them buildings before them moving forward, especially ground. Obviously, air can fly over the top of them, but ground units should have to kill them buildings to then progress, or either kill them or go around the buildings to then progress into the base, which would have been a better idea for me. There's probably a logical answer to why they didn't do it that way, but yeah.
Base. Eventually, the idea is that with enough of these and with the right ones, you can funnel your enemy into areas of your base that are better defended, and so it allows a bit more agency over where players build their turrets and build their defenses. And speaking of agency, that's actually my favorite one of the two. This is our way of offering tech for buildings.
He really sounds like he don't want to be there, young Russell. He doesn't want to be there at all, does he?
We didn't want to add a system that requires players to buy a specific piece of tech for every single building in the game. So what we decided to do is divide the buildings into certain departments that made sense, and then offer agents or contractors that could fit into one of those departments. There are multiple types of contractors based off of what type of thing they do. The current most frequent one is the architect type. These ones usually offer extra defenses for certain buildings, but we're going to be offering more and more different types of ones in the future. The exciting thing is that as we can spend more time doing it, we're able to get a more and more robust system put in place so that we can offer more interesting types of tech other than just.
So these agency buildings, they're classing it as a tech. So a damage reduction, a damage reduction to certain types of weapons, or you can't shock things and things like that. I kind of understand what they're trying to do with this. They're going to have to implement it on a large scale, I think, where there's I would say 30 or 40 different types. You will get to hear in a minute that there's only so many you can put into your base at one time. But yeah, it still boggles my mind. I am actually building the agency building now as a talk, because I am kind of curious as how far they're going to take this. But I think sooner or later the numbers just ain't going to marry up with what we're fighting against. So the percentile damage reduction isn't going to make sense towards future units coming into the game. I still feel that this is going to be something that's overshadowed down the road by the power of the units coming in, unless kixeye do take the game back to a tactical gameplay. But I'll carry on with the video, guys.
Base defense bonuses.
Yeah, not like a buff, not just a buff, but some of their cool kind of feature.
Yeah.
Fifth time he said cool.
Exactly. We have a long list of things that we would like, and we're just working with obviously the engineers to make some of those things happen. But like with anything, we want to make sure it is working the way we want.
Do you know what worries me the most about these buildings? These I forget what they're called. These little caravans that you get. How many of these are going to come out off the bat that are broken? And what I mean is they're overpowered. They ain't actually giving the 5-10% damage reduction. They're giving like 100% damage reduction. We know Kixeye's history of implementing new stuff into the game and how broken it can become. So keep an eye on things like that, guys, because I know for a fact there's something broken with the game right now when you're a certain faction. I haven't got all the information, so I'm not going to give it out here. But if you're a certain faction, you've got a certain one of these caravans built, caravans, whatever, mobile homes built, it does make your units almost immune to any shot, any damage. And this is the problem we're going to go up against moving forward in the game.
Do before we ship it. So you'll probably see a lot of different types of engineers and different types of contractors coming out in the future, and each one will hopefully have a very different use case. But ideally, you'll have eventually almost like a customized deck of cards that you can choose 8 from, and really customize how you defend your base. And how you set it up in different ways. So the choice will be in the player's hand as to how they set it up. And we're hoping that eventually, as we offer more and more things, that players can find really, really cool ways of interacting with these and combining them together. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, and you can unlock just by putting the buildings. You already have ones you can unlock in there. But with the last couple events, with last month's event and the event starting up, actually, by the time this goes live, it'll already be live. There'll be new ones to unlock. So, can we expect over the next couple months, a new one every couple months, a new one every month? What are we looking at?
The current goal is to do a new one every month, at least in the short term, just because I want to make sure that players are given a wide variety of them to use. Once we sort of have a lot of them in players' hands, we might tone that down to once every 2 months. But for now, once monthly in the event stores where they'll be.
Okay, so yeah, if you're liking these, you should look forward to a new one every month for a while.
I don't think people are liking them. I think people are finding a way to break the game while using them. Setting them up certain ways will just brick the game completely to the point they're overpowered.
A little bit, and just to see which ones are going to give you kind of some cool ideas for customizing your base and your defenses. That's pretty cool.
And also along those lines, if you guys have specific contractors that you're wanting to see, maybe you really want, one that offers you the ability to have more space for Go-Go Bar test battles or something like that. Whatever it is, let us know, and if we can make it work, we can try to make it. Yeah. And if not, we can figure out why it won't work. So please let us know what you guys want as well, because there's lots of room for future contractors.
And that's a great time to plug that in the Discord, we actually have a new method of suggestions. So you can submit your idea in Discord, and then the community actually gets to vote on it. Now, just because something gets a lot of high votes doesn't mean we're necessarily going to be able to do it. There'll be technical reasons why we might not be able to do it, design reasons why we might not be able to do it, but it'll give a chance to let your voice be heard if you have an idea. Other people can kind of piggyback on it and say, yeah.
What they mean is other people are going to troll the shit out of you. Second you fucking put something in there and you're not part of the click on Kixeye War Commander Discord, they're going to troll the shit out of you, make you fucking rage, and then you get banned from the Discord. That's pretty much 99% what happens on that Discord.
I like that idea. Or, no, I don't like that idea.
Yeah, he just said it right there. No, I don't like that idea. That's what a lot of people are going to say.
So yeah, check that out on our Discord. Plug over. All right. We did a round of stat compressions and rebalancing with CC20. So this is where...
Right. I've heard this before, and to me, this is a load of bollocks. I'm going to let him talk, and then I'm going to discuss it.
It's going to get potentially controversial, because we do know that there were some issues, obviously, but we have to do these stat compressions every once in a while because the numbers can get so inflated that it can actually affect the performance of the game. So we do, periodically need to compress the stat numbers down. With this, and we're going to talk about some of the issues that happened with the stat compression in a little bit. But before we get into that, let's talk about what was the idea behind the stat compression? Because it wasn't just stat compression. We also rebalanced some of the heroes and legendary units. What was kind of...
That is a fucking lie.
The thought process from a design standpoint on going into the stat compression?
That's a great question. first of all, I want to apologize to a lot of the players who felt that we weren't as transparent as we could have been with this. That's
When have they ever been transparent? When have kixeye ever come out? When it maybe in the last few months they've come out, they've actually engaged with the players a little bit more than they used to and said, like, there is a few things we're going to fix. Please, we've got this Discord channel set up. Please put anything in there that you've noticed. We can fix it. But they're not transparent. That's a lie.
it's obviously my fault, so I apologize for that. It wasn't anyone going into it wanting to deceive anyone. But we just wanted to make sure that things were done in a timely manner, and we maybe didn't spend as much time as we should have on that. The idea behind it, obviously, was that we wanted to decrease some of the more ludicrous numbers in the game. Obviously, we have some of the damage and health numbers. They were getting a bit crazy, and so we wanted to decrease them. As with the last stack compression, we can't simply divide everything by the same number, because then we would have a lot of early units having 1 health and 1 DPS, and the first 100, 200 units, they'd all have exactly the same health because they can't get compressed anymore. They're at minimum. So
like something that came out 5 years ago is going to be as powerful as something that came out like at the beginning of the game.
Exactly. And so because that, we have to sort of have a scaling dividing amount. One of the issues that we ran into, just due to, unfortunately, I guess being a bit rushed, was that dividing amount was set poorly in some places, and that's on me. So we had to readjust that. But in terms of heroes, in terms of legendary units, while we wanted to have everything be compressed evenly, we also noticed that there are some ecosystems in the game and some things in the game that players I have found interesting. For example, I find heroes really interesting, and I would like heroes to be used more often. So we tried to keep more heroes meta relevant, and so we didn't.
Bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit. Basically, what happened with the stack compression is some of the units were skipped. Some of the units' text was skipped. Workshop schematics were skipped, and they didn't fully take the 9,000 reduction divided by whatever it was. He's lying, and instead of going right, some of the units didn't actually compress properly. So you've got some overpowered units. You watch in the next few months, maybe not in the next few months, but as we walk down the road a bit further, these units will be dragged back. You'll notice a decline in their availability of being able to be used. I don't believe for a second that he thought, well, we're going to give some of these old units a buff. Not for 1 second. Kixeye are only after one thing, and that's money. If there's a unit that's level 20 and now it's overpowered compared to all the other units, sooner or later they're going to nerf them, because they ain't going to be able to sell the new units to us because the old units are too good. We ain't worried about the new units. It's the same with the 4 new heirs that we've got just recently, the Layla, Apoxels, or whatever they're called, and Copperhead and the Diamondbacks. Underpowered units, very fucking poor, and we're using units that are much, much better right now that are old. That's because their stack compression didn't work on them units. You will see them put fixes out for them shortly.
Decrease them as much as we decreased other things.
It's lying. I hate it.
Same goes for
it's a fucking lie.
Legendary units and some defensive units. We didn't decrease those as much, so that there are more.
He's trying to make out they're so clever that they've done a stack compression, but cherry picked a number of units and said, right, we're going to keep these as good. They ain't that fucking clever at Kixeye. We know that. They struggle to put one unit into the event in the events. A new unit. It's yin or yang whether it fucking works properly or not, or the text busted or something else is busted to it. They're not that clever.
PvP units and more defensive units in the viable pool for players to use. Now, due to a combination of that and over compressing certain things and under compressing certain things, it led to some older units becoming extremely powerful, and some newer units becoming too squished. And so,
I'm going to stop right there. Have they come out and fixed any of the newer units that are underpowered? I can think of one off the top of my head that I think is absolute garbage as it stands, and that's the Demi-Demon. It's not the unit it was before the stat compression. And I think that's done. I think they have done that on purpose. They don't like the Demi-Demon was so strong, and that was one unit that they wanted to fucking take away from us. I've got mine at level 26. I barely use the fucking thing anymore because the drones, or whatever you want to call them, the little buggies that spawn with it, they're one shot dead in 90% of the bases now. Whereas before we could actually pick the bases apart with them drones. Which it's sad from Kixeye. If they go back and revisit that and then say, right, okay, we've noticed a change in the Demi-Demon, we are going to buff it a little bit, I commend them for it, but I don't think they will.
Luckily, our players were very vocal about that, and not in a bad way, in a way that helped us a lot, because they were able to tell us what the issues were. And with a few rounds of tuning, we were able to get things mostly fixed. Obviously, there are going to be outliers, and there's going to be things that aren't quite perfect. And we sort of knew that going into it. It would have taken months to reevaluate every single unit and make it perfect. So there's going to be issues, and we really appreciate when players let us know, because it allows us to prioritize those and fix them.
Yeah. Well, this is the perfect, I don't know if you've planned it this way, but this is the perfect segue into my next question, because there's no change whenever you're doing a mass change in anything, not just video games, but city planning, any kind of thing that it requires major.
Did he say my name or did he say city? City planning. I think he said city planning, so they're planning it around me.
Projects. There's always going to be things that accidentally get looked over, or mistakes that get made just because you're dealing with so much stuff. And when these stat compressions happen, you're dealing with, hundreds of units that have been made, thousands of pieces of tech, and how those pieces of tech can affect one stat and, something crazy, mistakes are likely to happen. And so as you were saying, we definitely want to thank the players for letting us know when some of these things happen. Anything that you found that is just kind of crazy, you can pretty much assume right away was unintentional. That something, working.
And there it comes down to it. He wanted the heroes and some of the uniques to be improved, but anything you've found that is, unbelievable, that it's probably going to get patched.
Drastically how it should not was certainly not our intention. And letting us know that helps us, find those things and fixes them, as quickly as we can. So what are some things that, we've already fixed a bunch over the last couple of months with different releases, but what are some things that we're still looking into that haven't been able to get addressed yet?
So we're obviously wanting to continually optimize the game, whether that's new units being added or old units being adjusted. There are a few things that I'm aware of right now of some older units having certain abilities that are overpowered, and those are hopefully being rectified in the next release.
Yeah, Manticore specifically, I know, is one that the players have called out a lot for the damage that the cloud does and how it's been traveling across the base. So those are both things that are being looked into. I can assure you guys of that.
Yeah, and the way that we choose to fix it, obviously we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. But if we give it an attempt to fix it, and for some reason it's still not the way that we think it should be, or you guys don't think it's the way it should be, we would love feedback on that as well too, because obviously we can do as much internal testing as we want to, but the people whose voices really matter are the players.
So our voices matter. What about? I like Layla. I think Layla's got a use, but I can't pronounce it. Apoxels. They're still junk. Why don't they listen to us about them? And I still think the Copperhead and the Diamondbacks, they're not up to scratch. They're not the unit they're supposed to be. These are Series 4 units. They're not what we expect from this game. So how about looking at them before you start nerfing other units?
And so I'm extremely thankful for any player who's been able to let us know when content is unbalanced, especially when they're able to, put it on Discord and say, hey, here's what the problem is, here's why it's a problem. And if they're able to explain that, clearly in Discord, it's perfect because we're able to see the issue and understand why it's an issue as well. So the more of that happening, the better. And I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Yeah, one other thing too that we've been trying to figure out and get fixed for the last few weeks has been the rebalancing of the resource bases. We certainly are aware that they're not paying out what they should. There's some discrepancies kind of going on from what you see with the scouting. That is something that I also want to assure players is being looked into. We actually have 2 engineers looking at it because it does seem to be some weird calculation issues.
The whole team is looking at it. 2 engineers, like they've got 2 engineers to spare.
Issue that is outside the scope of what designers can, fix. So we have to get people to kind of open up the hood and see what's going on there because it's acting very weird. So those will hopefully, no promises, hopefully be fixed with the next release. That's the goal. Obviously, you'll want to check out the release notes when I post them to get a full list of what has, in fact, been fixed with the upcoming release. All right. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year in War Commander. October is just about every player's favorite month because we usually do the Halloween kind of zombie events with the...
This is the first time in 3 or 4 years that Kixeye have actually given us a decent October. Normally it's a failure of an event right at the end of the month, and it's not what the players expect. It's not what the players demand. I don't even think they're going to get it right with this one. I don't think they quite understand what Halloween was previously when actually Will Harbin owned the company. And I'd like to give my 5 cents on that right now. The Halloween events was basically a massive, massive catch-up to players that didn't have stopped playing, players that are returning, and players that maybe new players that are joining, where they could get into these events, they could get every single unit, every single tech, every single upgrade logistic, everything was in one place at one time in the main event, and then we'd have a nightmare version of the event, and then it would all be available once again and everyone could catch up. I think they've lost focus on that. It's not just about zombies. It's not just about Halloween. The point of this month's event was the chance to get players that have stopped playing for some reason or another. They're fed up with the game, whatever. Or some players that are trying to get back into the game and they just need that catch-up event, that bump to get them into the game again. And that's what Kixeye need to focus on over some of the other bullshit that they discuss here right now. They need to make sure that this event, these 2 events, I think it's Holdout and Skirmish that are zombies, they're going to put everything they can into these 2 events and make sure they're structured so the players can heavily catch up to the point where they're back into the game. They've got then they've got Kixeye have got the chance of them players becoming coiners and earning revenue. And that's they've lost the focus. They think it's just about zombies. It's not. It was the point of these events was just a massive catch up. And I'm going to leave it there and get back to this blabbering.
The really cool, unique units that have been just kind of insane, whether it be Bub or any of the others. So yeah, we have, of course, another spooky season coming up. So what can you tell us about Dr. Aegon and Dr. Ake, which will be 2 of our new unique units that are coming up?
Absolutely. So it's been a long goal of mine to somehow introduce dragons into War Commander, obviously.
I just want to put my 2 cents in here. It was a long goal of these to put wizards in the game as well, and it's not the unit you're thinking, guys. The wizards were the Omen and the base unit for them. They were wizards. So they didn't really break the game's lore or anything like that, but they had magical sticks, and Omen had magical powers where he could fucking shoot a ghost across the map. That's his wizard, so I'm not going to shoot him down for the dragon idea too much, as long as it's implemented with the right kind of taste towards the game, and it's correctly in vein with how the game is right now.
And obviously we're doing it in a War Commander way where we're not just literally adding dinosaur-looking dragons, but we're having some sort of science and tech behind them.
Diviners are the wizards. I had to look that up quickly.
I'm very excited for them. One of them will be a ground-based dragon, and one of them will be a flying dragon.
Not really a dragon if it's ground-based. It's a lizard.
One of them will be released in Holdouts, and one of them will be released in Skirmish. But I am extremely excited. We're testing out a few different things with them. One of them is some new types of tech. I can't speak too much into that yet, but it should be a fun little system for players if it works the way I think it should. So look forward to that.
I'm hearing this a lot. If it works correctly, if we implement it correctly, if the guys can fix it correctly, it's an ongoing theme right now. It might work, it might not, basically.
But yeah, we wanted to get away from having just zombies over and over again. Zombies are great.
And I agree with him here. They ain't got to just be zombies. There's a whole genre of horror that they can implement into the game, and I think that needs to be... I'm looking forward to this to see what they actually implement. I bet it's just zombies, but the dragons are the only difference they've made in this.
I love zombies. But similarly to how Gravedigger and Nox produced essentially ghosts, we wanted to look into other spooky monster type things to add. And so,
by the way, Gravedigger's got to be reintroduced in these events. Gravedigger, Nox, all of them, reintroduce them, let the players get them, because I don't think Gravedigger, I think it's only been purchasable, and Nox, I can't remember if that was put back into the game last October or not. I'm not sure. I don't think it was for some reason, but I may be wrong.
We thought that dragons were the next thing. So
yeah. So basically, we are going to be fighting zombies, is what he's saying. But the dragons is the change that they're making. Not anything different on when we're actually battling the undead, if you like.
That's where we went. As for what we do next year, if there's any specific spooky monsters you guys want to see, let us know. If we have, we'll use it as inspiration if we find it interesting. So, I
mean, I see you guys passed over my A-Team parody idea, which just breaks my heart. Of the A-Team, a zombified A-Team van that has a whole crew of people. But I'll forgive you for maybe next year. If anybody likes my A-Team zombie idea, go ahead and put that in the suggestions in Discord. And
yeah, we'll make the Grave Team next year.
Yeah, the Grave Team. Gosh,
yeah.
That's so great. Anyways.
I'm not too sure about that, but I can see it. I can see what he's getting at. It's just a bit of fun.
So yeah, we have dragons coming up, and no Dr. Ake, which looks like Drake, because Drake is a dragon. No, it's not named after me. I have a unit that is in the game that is named after me, but good luck figuring out which one it is.
I'm sure we was told a few years back that what his unit was. I'm not 99% sure. I'll have to dig through the old heroes and let you know.
Ha ha ha. And young Russell has a unit in the game named after him as well. Which one could it be? That could be an interesting trivia question or contest for the future. Which ones are based on various people? Because some units in the game are based on actual people here at the company. Either current or throughout the various history of the game, and some of them aren't. So which ones are the real ones? Which ones are the fake ones? These are the questions that I need you guys to ask, the hard-hitting questions.
For Drake, you just look for the gimpy-looking-ist hero, and that would probably be 99% correct.
So let's close this up over here, young Russell. Is there anything that you are looking for from our player base? Because we got this new feedback system happening.
They've kind of messed up with this video. If they set it as a premiere, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this video as a premiere and it'll start at a certain time. You get a side chat on YouTube. They could have actually set it as a premiere and then had a side chat on YouTube where people discuss the ideas that they were talking about, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever they wanted to put in there. You know, let everyone have their 5 cents. I wanted to call it 5 cents for some reason. But with a premiere, you can actually have the conversation going on while the video's playing. And the kixeye employees, especially not so much Drake. Drake's more important to the game, but I mean the actual devs, the actual graphic designers, the people that are working on the game could have been in that side chat, and we could have had an open discussion with them over while the video was playing, basically.
We got a new bug report system going on over in Discord, so we can make sure that things get communicated as clearly as possible, and we have a better feedback with the community on what's getting fixed and what's changing. What do you think as a designer is going to help you the most from the community?
Well, as we approach the end of the year, which I know it's only October, but we're getting close to it. As we approach it, we obviously look into next year and we sort of figure out what we want to do for tentpole things, for small things, for changes, for upgrades. And there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of roads that we can go down. And obviously, I know what I like in games, and I can reach out to the other designers and ask what they like. But I would also like to hear from the players what they like. What sort of things do they?
I think a lot of people will say we don't like dragons. Basically, I'm not gonna complain about the dragons. I'm gonna let them implement them and see whether it's something that I'm not gonna shoot it down just yet.
They enjoy most about the game. What sort of things drive them crazy and wish they were changed?
The grind, the cheats, the manipulators, the scripters. If you ask 99.9% of the players that are legit, that's what they would come back with. Simple answer.
What sort of things would you like to see from the game? All of these different things, as put as feedback in Discord, would be fantastic, because it lets us know that either we're going on the right track or we're completely off base and we've been going in the wrong direction. So we would love to hear back from you guys. Obviously, we can't do everything. We can't implement everything, but we would like to do as much as we can to keep this game.
Get rid of the scripts. Once the scripts are gone, you'll find a happier player base. Simple fucking answer to your question.
Game being the fun war commander that you like to play.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important thing to bring up, because we make this game from a content point of view. We make it for you guys. We want.
But you're not listening to no one. You got to listen to the legit players.
You guys to have a lot of fun with the units, with the art, with the design of them, with the PvP systems, and obviously there are technical restrictions to some ideas, and there are design restrictions to some ideas. But we want to be able to take what you guys like or don't like and incorporate it into the future. I mean, a lot of those ideas.
Take what you guys like and don't like and incorporate it into the game anyway.
End up getting put into a command center update. So you may see that some similarities to ideas that you guys have suggested have shown up in newer things for your command center over the years and things like that. So we do try to make sure we factor that in. But this ultimately is a game for you guys to play and have fun. So we want to hear what your ideas are and do.
I do like that they want to hear the ideas, they want the feedback, but they've got to be able to take the negative with the positive when it comes to the feedback. Obviously, there's going to be people like me out there that just get fucking mad about the game and just go on a rant, a tangent of fuck you, fuck kixeye, fuck the game. That's part and parcel of making a game. That's just the average player isn't that fucking vocal and ain't got the brains to just calm down and drop it down a level. Once they lose their mind, they've lost their mind for a couple of hours. That's how it works.
Do what we can to incorporate those as best we can. Well, anything else you want to add to this, young Russell?
Only that I want to thank everyone for continuing to play the game. hopefully continuing to enjoy the game. And I'm looking forward to a long road ahead of improvements and cool new fun units and things.
Well, I know that you already have the storyline pretty much planned out for like the next 2 years or something along that line. So you definitely have a lot of ideas for things. So there's no shortage of, or no sense that we're stopping anytime soon with anything. So
Absolutely not. I'm having too much fun.
Why would he say that? Why would he make a point of saying there's no chance we're stopping anytime soon? That kind of makes no sense. You wouldn't bring that into the conversation that he's having. I haven't watched this bit, so this is all new to me. Yeah, I don't like that he said that.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, if you're not a member of our Discord, you'll find a link underneath the video for our Discord link, as well as our social medias. So follow those so you can make sure you get any updates about the game. Take part in any of the contests. I mean, we're just giving gold and upgrade logistics away people. Like, I think I've given in the last 3 months like a total of like 1,000 gold away.
It's in the ocean.
I think I've given like over 100 logistics away in the last couple months. So come on to the Discord, take part in the trivia contest and the monthly contests and be an all-around good neighbor in the community, and maybe you'll get Player of the Month. Who knows?
I honestly wouldn't want to be Player of the Month on the War Commander Discord. That means you've sucked dick for a month. That's basically what that means. You've sucked up to kixeye for a month to be able to get 100 coin or whatever it is, 250 coin. No, thank you.
But we have a lot of fun, and we have even more planned that we're going to be doing over the next few months in there to get the community kind of more involved with a lot of things. So thank you guys for being as awesome as you've always been. And
you're very much welcome, Drake.
And yeah, if we don't do this monthly, we'll at least do this quarterly. So this might be the only one for the rest of the year, but you will get one of these Drake's Dungeons, every couple months at the minimum, moving forward. So yeah. Well, young Russell, I'd like to thank you again for your time. I know you're very busy, incredibly busy with not just designing the game, but also figuring out all the story content and then wrangling all the other designers together to do everything. So I know you're a busy person.
Wrangling tells me that maybe some of the other designers ain't actually based in Canada as well. So they're like Drake, they're split, which isn't a good sign either. It means different ideas come out with different. They're not actually intermingling their ideas, or they're implementing things that are different or negative to the other idea. That kind of baffles me.
So I appreciate your time, and I know the players do as well.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Have fun out there in War Commander Land, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
I like it, guys. It's not something I'm going to shit on too much. I think the game needs to be more open, more honest about things. I would like to have seen them discuss at least some of the manipulation that's going on in the game. Just a brief segment to say, look, guys, we're doing our best. Basically, if they just said that and left it at that, I would have been more happy. No one really gives a fuck about if they're putting dragons into the game, as long as it's in the vein of the way the game is. No one's going to bat an eyelid. Look at the Gravedigger, for instance, a great big 4x4 truck that spawns ghosts. So it's not something that we haven't seen before. We've also got the wizards implemented into the game. I think young Russell should have been working on a D&D game over a real-time war game, but it is what it is. Hopefully they do a few more of these and keep us in the loop. But I think, personally, they're just skimming over what people want to hear. They're not skimming over, they're totally not saying nothing, basically. And people want to hear about if they are on top of some of these manipulations in the game. Make the players happy by bringing something like that up, even if it's just briefly. My mic's stuck. And, well, let's see what happens over this month, guys. It could be a shit show. Other than that, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.